Puppy just hugged him at all times. He doesn't care about S4 at this point. It's just about keeping Arteezy alive, and that mech solely used for Arteezy, that Grave solely saved for him as well. It's going to be really hard to bring 1200 HP, a magic stick, and all of that help to come with it. This is going to mean that the BKB is probably next for him, and once that happens, I actually think Secret are in a really good position to take fights. Like, they're still up in net worth. Even though the kills are in favor of VP, and the Storm is getting a little bit out of control, they have a lot of ways to deal with it, just because Arteezy is... I mean, he's pushing them across this game with 9,100 net worth at 17 minutes compared to just the 6.4k that the Storm and the Dro have.
Yeah, it's natural for an SF to stay more farmed in the enemy cores. He's probably one of the faster farmers out there, but the dramatic difference is impressive from Arteezy. Ooh, that's an Illidan double damage. Still trying to go for that Roshan. They're chasing down FNG. They will be able to get the vacuum. Sai is actually stunned up. S4 pops his own ultimate. FNG somehow still alive here as Team Secret swarm forward. Telekinesis on the Drone Ranger. Actually looked on the stump. That is huge. Illidan actually gets the silence out to be able to stop some of this aggression. And now they need to get him out of those trees. He'll actually just TP out. Somehow there's only one kill for VP, and Team Secret didn't get anything out of that. But at the same time, Team Secret are still stalling up that Roshan.
It's just such an awkward engagement for both teams. VP, you're starting to see the effects of what Zai did at that bottom lane even now. Because Lil, at this point in the game, normally has at least a medallion, but it's 18 minutes and he's just working on Tranquil Boots. He even buys a Mango just so he has enough mana to stay in these fights, and FNG isn't doing any better.
We have a lot of 5 versus 5 happening right now, but Illidan still chooses to go for the Shadow Blade. More of a pick-off item, may not be that useful in team fights later on into the game. Why do you think he went for this item choice over certain more stat-based builds? We've even seen S and Y before on Dro Ranger. Early BKBs are always picked up on Dros as well.
You can just continue to pressure the Queen of Pain, for example, and go for the solo pick off on her. Right. You can do what he just did right there, which is invis into the Roshan pit, and Secret have no idea that this is going on. Like, they might see the birds flying in, but it's not going to matter at this point as it's so low, and this was such a hard-fought Roshan, and G's going to pick up an Aegis with this, and this might just open up the map again for VP.
So once again, the combination for Storm Spirit is coming, the Bloodstone and Aegis, that should allow him to get easy charges. Start building up that mana regeneration.
Yeah, once he has that Bloodstone, things become a lot more clear-cut for VP. You can start looking for fights with that Aegis. You can start going for the tier 1s that are still existing on the map. The bottom one is quite low, the top one is quite low, but you probably go for the top one after you go for the bottom one. Because the bottom one is 360 HP. Secret most likely don't fight that because of that Aegis.
FNG pushes out the middle lane real quick, TP's out. Illidan's going to spend his time farming up the top lane. S4 is actually sitting on the side there. He gets pinged out by Illidan, though.
Oh, here's a big pickup right now. DK Phobos gets that Blink Dagger, and this is going to be so hard for them to fight. And again, at bottom, they're just not going to defend this. They're sending people down now, but...
TP, S4 may actually be jumped on by DK Phobos. Decides against it. God's going to pop his Invis Rune, and the deny is there from S4. Despite the double creep wave, he manages to secure the last hit.
Right now, S4 probably working on a Hex. I think this is the best item that he can go for. If you go for Yules, your hero is pretty much useless with this game. You go for that item if you have a kill or two. Going for the Aghanims also probably doesn't do enough. So going for the Hex means that at some point the Storm is going to have to grab a BKB. Same with the Dro Ranger, and you want to force them into that weird situation where instead of continuing their snowball, they have to stop and get a BKB.
Right. Speaking of BKB, Artur has his coming in. That tier 1 tower rapidly dropping, though, to Illidan's push as the Dro Ranger. This is allowing them to kind of keep up with the SF.
Oh, this is such a bad situation for VP to be in, though.
Shadowplay goes off. Illidan actually gets some distance. Now the counter ward gets dropped. The telekinesis is there. Light Strike Array misses. FNG pops his head out. He's trying to get away. Silence actually gets laid out. Illidan hopefully was getting to the trees and TPing out, but there's no way. Team Secret can actually get to there. A big pickoff, even if it does cost them their tier 1 tower. Virtus Pro, oh my goodness, it actually looks like they want to still fight this one with the initiation from DK Phobos. This would be a pretty crazy choice by them to try 3 versus 5. And sure enough, they do back up.
I don't think they necessarily had to go for that top push either, though. They showed 2 of their heroes in the mid lane, 1 of the heroes in the bottom lane, meaning that Max VP can't send anybody else up there. There's only one tier 2 tower, not enough space for them to get there in time, and I mean, they just pretty much fed away 2 heroes. Like, you have to anticipate Secret having at least a Dust or a Sentry ready. They see the Shadow Blade come out on the Dro, they're always going to anticipate that. There's no professional team that will see a Shadow Blade and say, okay, well, let's just find out what happens and hope that he doesn't invis. And I mean, that's just free 2 kills for them, and they want to use this Aegis at this point, though. Yeah. With the Bloodstone, they're probably going to try to get aggressive, and Arteezy's a really good target here.
Absolutely. DK Phobos starting things off with an Echo Slam. They will be able to chain stun and instantly pop Arteezy. The use of the Laguna Blade has got to be all about that Shallow Grave from Puppey. They did not want to give that support the opportunity to be able to save SF for 5 seconds. And let there be a turnaround.
Oh, Illidan from behind.
He jumps in. He's going to be able to get the silence on the Puppey, and they do easily get the kill thanks to the Fisher. And it looks like with those 2 pickoffs, they should be able to get this tier 2 tower. Team Secret actually going to go for it, vacuum up. Sonic Wave, instantly taking out 1, and a second as Zai runs him down. God turns around onto S4. They will be able to pick up that counter kill. Kuro's up next. God, oh, what a ball lightning steal from Kuro. Actually gets away from the Fisher. And now they're actually going to push VP away from this tier 2 tower because of that. Well worth the trade of S4's life.
I think Kuro was fine there, but by stealing the ball lightning, now they have better ways of initiating. It's just a good ability for him to steal because he's got such a low mana pool to work with, so it doesn't cost too much. I think the activation, it says 78, so that means he can probably go from tier 2 to tier 3 relatively safely, and this is going to make it really hard for VP to lock him down.
Once again, Lil's going for the medallion into Solar Crest. A couple of other items here. FNG doesn't have a whole lot of item progression just yet. That'll probably come with the tier 2 towers falling. DK Phobos is actually going to go for a Force Staff instead of the Yule Scepter he went for last time.
I kind of think this is cool by Kuro, though, because he can actually catch Illidan really easily, Cap. He walks into Illidan, blows the zip, immediately lifts him, and then just makes sure that Illidan is spotted for the rest of his team.
Puppey is actually in a very dangerous position right now. He was trying to get some aggressive vision up. The TP out, but God is there to get the pull. And the Fisher on top of that. That's just another charge for the Storm Spear. Even if he couldn't use his Aegis earlier, he still has 11 Bloodstone charges.
It's probably okay, though, because you're continuing to snowball, and S4 just isn't really getting anything out of this.
Kuro, he actually gets the initiation on FNG, seals his nuke, Light Strike Array, 2-man Fisher. Kuro is not going to make it out because he traded the Ball Lightning or the Dragon Slave in order to get that trade-off.
Still probably a decent trade right now, and right now they're going to get some birds out of this.
No, nice pushback. The silence was actually enough to save those 2 familiars until S4 hunts one of them down.
What's really significant for Secret now is they have a good way of initiating the fights. We saw it in the last fight. Zai has this Blink Dagger now. It's going to be so much easier for them to group up. That Roshan pit fight is going to become so dangerous for VP to take with that Blink Dagger available. DK Phobos about to finish the Force Staff too. Items. This Puppey drops the Sentry Ward. Illidan walking in and out. This is such a dangerous game that he's playing. The Storm Spirit isn't close enough. Everybody TPing in now.
Oh, Illidan already the Shallow Grave preemptively used by Puppey. Illidan's going to try and TP out seconds away. What a familiar drop there from Lil. This is why he is one of the most feared Visage players across all of Dota.
He's just so calm with it. He always knows what he wants to do with his familiars. Saves it to the last second so that there's no way that they can grab him, and great play by him. G's about to finish the Orchid though, and the next Rosh ride I feel is going to determine a lot. If you get the Roshan again on G, that means one of your supports is dead for sure. Maybe even S4. But if you can get it on Arteezy, that means you can just kind of power through all the lanes and just give him the Aegis. It's so hard to kill him the first time around. You probably have to blow the Echo and the Laguna Blade, and from there Secret just get into a fight.
Is G looking at S4, who is going to blink away unless... Oh, God, no! Just half a millimeter away from being able to break down the right tree that would have revealed the S4 TPing out. Going back to it, God chooses to go for the Orchid here. Does he really feel far enough ahead of S4 that he's not worried about that Scythe of Ice?
No. He's had that ultimate orb for quite some time. He's died one additional time, so he knows that S4 is still quite far away from it. But I mean, Secret, they're going for the push right now. I think they feel confident with the Blink Dagger on Zai and RTZ. He has so much farm. He's got a BKB, the Talisman of Evasion. It's going to be incredibly hard for them to take him down.
Which kind of pushes Illidan to this awkward situation where he has to make a decision between MKB and BKB.
I think he has to go for the BKB.
God. Oh, mind games. RTZ, his damage is too much. Gets the last click on the tower there. They stun up Artur, trying to catch up. FNG's going to lead with perhaps a blind light strike. Yeah, the Fisher chain stunning RTZ down with Laguna Blade on top. Shellgrave does go off, and RTZ will have the opportunity to pop his ultimate. They just need a couple of right clicks to kill him. The Drone Ranger, no, it's not enough. God is actually going to jump forward. He gets that one. It's the explosion from the Blink Dagger canceled by the illusion. S4 spotted out by the familiars, but they won't be able to get there in time, it looks like. DK Phobos tries to go for the Fisher, but not there, and they actually get 3 for 2 to the favor of Secret. They lost RTZ, but they still managed to pick up God and a couple of supports.
Him getting his ultimate off changed the entire state of that fight, because it just made VP split up. They were afraid. They didn't want to get hit close range to it, and he stayed alive for so long that G had to commit all of his mana pool just to kill the Shadow Fiend. And you don't want to trade in a one-on-one situation like that as this Stormster, because now all of a sudden, if S4 wants it, he has a fully completed Hex.
Yep, he spends the...
Oh, I think he forgot about the change.
Yeah, the Void Stone's still back in the regular base. But he will have it for the next fight. Illidan, meanwhile, he is going to be going for the BKB. He almost has it completed, so he's kind of hiding it right now. I think once they finish up that BKB, they probably go for a smoke towards a team fight, utilizing that 10-second match community.
Yeah, that's a really good chance. I almost feel that G needs one too, and as long as S4 doesn't show himself, this fight's going to be so weird.
Hey, Phobos, they're going to jump in on RTZ again. They still have the Echo Slam, but there is a response from Team Secret. They do have a Shellgrave that's going to come in at the last second. RTZ easily survives. Now they're going to go into S4. He actually manages to blink out just ahead of that one. Two-man vacuum by Zai. He's going to be stunned up, though, and they still have the damage. God's going to come in. He looks for kills. Kuro's actually stolen Ball Lightning once again, though.